Hi, I'm Claude.
And I'm Jess.
We are corporate employees by day, entrepreneurs by night, and work besties for life.
Join us as we explore how work besties lift each other up, laugh through the chaos, and thrive together in every industry.
Work besties!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Work Besties Who Podcast. We are extremely excited for this week's episode because we have two of our absolute favorite guests that we've ever talked to back. The last time they were on, I called them the dynamic duo.
You did.
This time, there's a trio. So we're really, really excited to have Ryan, the world's okayest school psych. Hey, Danielle, our absolute favorite bcba, and then now Jen is with us with an interesting twist because Jen is the boss of them.
Of
Danielle. Well, maybe the boss
Ryan.
of all of us.
Somebody needs the boss, Ryan. So here,
Somebody
as a direct supervisor, but he needs these other two wonderful ladies in his life to rein
to really
him
rein
up.
him in.
Yes.
To keep him straight.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, like they're both my bosses. Like,
True.
really.
true.
so the intention of this episode will be for those who ever question whether you can be besties with
your boss.
somebody that is at a higher level or potentially even your direct boss. So with that, Jen, we'd love you to give just a little bit of background. Ryan, Danielle, you guys can do a brief background in case some people haven't listened to the previous episode. And if they haven't, please do because it's hysterical.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Jen. I have been fortunate enough to become part of this trio in the last couple of years. I like to think of myself more as a referee / counselor with these two, which is really kind of how this friendship became established. But I have been in the special ed world for about 18 years. What my role is called as a special ed coordinator. So I directly supervise Danielle, which is new this year. And then I'm going to say I supervise Ryan too. He doesn't like that, but I do. So I just, provide extra support, guidance, any kind of emotional support I can provide for people in our field right now.
Your description of a referee, because I do feel like sometimes you're a referee, but then I think on the last podcast that I was the referee because you do fight.
You did referee
Like, hey, have you
recently.
maybe talked to Jen? Hey, have you maybe? So I feel like we take turns being the referee.
We do.
And
So
Yeah.
is Ryan a referee at some point?
No, they won't even let me do that. I mean, if they need a referee, it's not going to be me.
I was going to say, do you see the common denominator here? I think that's how I ended up in this. Ryan was texting me one day complaining about Danielle. Danielle was texting me one day complaining about Ryan. So I just started a group text. How can we work through this? And then everyone said sorry by the end. I requested to be paid for my counseling services, but
And
that did not happen.
Let's see what my cup says. That's when your unpaid therapist brought you in.
The rest is history. Here we are.
So before we get into some of that, Danielle, Ryan, I know you guys gave a background the last time, but just like a quick rebrief of who you both are.
I am Danielle. I am a board certified behavior analyst, which is, in my opinion, a cool behavior scientist. I'm a BCBA in public school, so I get to public school on BCBA all day. It is my love language. I am very passionate about my job, which can come across as sometimes aggressive, but I just love my job and love doing what's best for kids. So I am your friendly neighborhood BCBA.
Friendly? So, mostly friendly. Okay. I'm a school psychologist. And also, I live this life 24/7. I have a 14-year-old son now who has profound autism. He's in a special program at school. So my life is like truly just a lot of fun. And Danielle, and even Jen have both helped me, with various situations involving my son. Sweet.
So glad this is recorded.
It's recorded.
I was also going to say one of the first times we talked, Jen, is when you and Danielle were in the lobby of the annex building, and that's where my office is. And at the time, all our protocols and resources and everything were stored there. And I approached Danielle and just told her about all these protocols that I'm taking for myself without going through the process. And as Jen's job as a coordinator, like she's over those protocols. So she's like, what? Wait a minute.
You're stealing? That is
And
not
you're
the
just saying it
process.
right in front of me?
he said the protocol lady's in there. I said, I'm the protocol lady. Like, that's me.
I didn't know I was. I didn't know
steal.
you were, I was just like, I'm busted. But
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then what did you do? Like a few months later, what did you do?
We have relocated the protocols to our office now. And because Ryan went in there, laid on top of the protocols and took selfies and sent them to me. Like,
No, he didn't. For
he
real?
sure did. Yeah.
Like,
And I was like, okay, we got to get the protocols out. Like, he's stealing.
They literally relocated them like
I mean,
5-6 miles down the road, like got them away from me.
I'm surprised it's not like in a moving vehicle just to make sure you're not there.
Well, that's
Gosh.
smart. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's restrict his badge access to that room. People felt like that was a little harsh, but I was like, we'll just restrict his access.
No, that's about it. School psychologist and then dad. So I'll just leave it at that for right now.
And you are a social media creator.
Yes, I do have the page World's Okayest School Psych. I love memes. I love creating memes.
Yeah.
I love
You're very good at it.
finding memes.
I'm gonna say, let's clarify.
We need to be a meme at some point.
Yeah, when do we get to
Ryan?
be a meme, Ryan?
I can make you a meme. You're making, we were just talking before the podcast about Milli Vanilli, and I thought you were giving them a hard time and stuff, and I like those guys. And so I might make a meme about you for making fun of Milli Vanilli. You know?
I was giving you a hard time. I wasn't making fun of Millie
But
Vanilli.
not you.
You weren't. I
Yes,
did.
Aaron.
I did.
So, Jen, how did you come in this,
It happened.
It just happened. I think it really came down to me mediating this giant argument. It's really genuinely how it happened. It was like my phone, both sides are texting me. So I was like, I can't do this. So I just put it all in a group and I was like, we're going to work this out together. And then that's really how it evolved. And now we work out all of our issues with each other. Well, with
Well,
Ryan
you and
in
Danielle
our
were
group
already
text.
friends.
Danielle and I have been besties for 3 years now.
Me and Ryan, and then me and Jen, and then Ryan
Together.
is
So,
right.
Daniel, you're the connector, technically.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we had to have and we talked about that last time about having the friend NDA because
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
requirement. And we have 2 group texts. We have one that we named, and then we have one that we were using. This is what Ryan does when he wants something in the group text. He will text me a period, which is my signal that I have to go to find the group text for him because he can't find it on his phone and type in the group text. Ryan, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes.
It's not that.
That would be
That's
me.
not it.
That's actually kind of
don't
ingenious.
The group text
Yeah.
on my phone. I don't want anyone picking up my phone and going through that text.
I know, because it does have a
Save
rich
it as a
NDA.
favorite. You don't even want to.
I don't want anyone I don't want that risk because woo.
And that's the signal. He does not say anything else to me.
He just
It is a
literally
period
sends
and
you a period.
only.
When I text her, it's a period. It's a bat signal.
And I need to, it is a bad signal. And I have to go find the group text. Yes.
Why don't you just send her a bat? I feel like at least that's cuter.
Not bad.
Effort. He would have to go to emojis and
She
then
knows
find
it.
it out. And then
Yeah.
he would rather just click a period and then
That's it. She knows me so well. It requires more
Yeah.
effort. The period's easier.
Forbid you not respond to him in the group text. Then you become a meme.
Okay, so tell us what's the dynamics. So there's 2 group
gosh.
texts. One has a
No,
name,
there's
one
only
doesn't.
just one. I
There's
don't.
just one. Okay.
The NDA lives in the group text that's named, so that's the
Yeah.
group text you have to use.
So that's the one. If you say
That's
anything
the
on that,
one
it's
thing.
Yeah.
got it.
Ryan will say, if we don't respond to him, he does get very upset about that. So we're
I
always
feel
very
it's normal though. No one.
I mean,
Let's pause for a second. That's not true because literally I had to explain to you the other day when friends text messages, sometimes they just stop talking and then they pick up the conversation the next day. Ryan wants like a formal, thank you for texting. Have a great night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I look at text more like a real life conversation.
and nobody
So there
does
has to
that.
be like an end to it. Like, how do you end a conversation?
Every
aren't
night
like
and every
that.
morning you have to send a good night,
Yeah.
y'all. Good morning.
He would like us to be like, talk to you later.
That's what he
Good
wants.
morning.
Clear in.
I don't say good morning.
It's like a
like that.
nonstop conversation.
Oh, I admit I am learning social skills when it comes to text because I always looked at text as just a regular conversation. But
Okay.
that's not the way it is, apparently.
Just like when you're friends, your conversation just flows. Like
Yeah.
you just know you could text at any time with anything, and it just, if you stop, you stop. Danielle and I don't say, I mean, we do. Danielle and I do say good morning to each other every single morning.
Yes.
Okay,
Every morning.
and not me.
We
Neither
do
of you
every
do that to
morning.
me. See what I'm saying here?
It's more of like a check-in, like, hey,
No one checks in with me.
You want us to text you good morning, bitch? Because that is literally
that's exactly what we say every morning to each other. Morning, bitch.
I
Every
mean,
morning.
it might be nice, yes. I might
Okay.
like it. Yeah, I might like a good morning.
So which group text is the most active?
Probably her and Danielle.
Yeah, we text all day.
I'm left out.
You're not.
You're not left. Not
But
left.
they keep talking about how I complain about being left out.
If we talked about what Jen and I talked about, you would eventually say, "Stop including me in the text message."
You
No,
would.
that's true. Being in education, a female dominated field, and like I'm in a cubicle, or sometimes I'll be in a conference room, but I can hear people talking in another room. The stuff they talk about, they're talking about, someone's talking about hot flashes the other day, but it gets much worse than that, you know? Like it was just like, wow. Like I should not be hearing this.
That's in all fairness, you need to understand that also that it's
But
happening.
you think men have locker room talk? Oh no, you ain't seen that. I mean, women have locker room talk too. But I mean, I try not to, be in the vicinity of it. But sometimes I just
So you get upset because you get left out, and I can guarantee you, 30 minutes into being on that group text, you would be like, "I don't
Tag
want to
me
do
out.
this anymore."
You'd
No,
see
no,
that. What
you're
is it
right,
like? Ryan
because-
has left the chat.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no. You know what? I'll compliment you too, because I was a part of another group chat with two other work friends who are
Oh,
no longer in our,
really?
they're no longer in our district.
This got spicy.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
Interesting. Are you doing a podcast with them too?
no, I invited
Don't
you
worry,
to.
we told them to wait another hour.
Are they the next?
But
next
anyway, they talk
episode?
about things that they should leave me out of. So I'm happy that you two are doing that. So thank you.
Then you can't sit there and say, "See, I'm always left out. I'm never included."
Tim, you know that.
There it is.
Speaking of victims, the last time we chatted with Danielle and Ryan, we heard about the memes and
Yes.
how Danielle gets pointed at a lot. Jen, I'm assuming, based off of some of the ones we've read, some might actually be about you.
For sure. For
And
sure.
when that happens, how do you feel? How do you take it?
I think I've been fortunate enough with Ryan that none of them have been geared towards my professionalism. It's more towards my being a Scorpio and like
Yeah.
my attitude and my
Yeah, it's
personality.
personal.
I think there's been a
Yeah.
few that have been directed towards the whole leadership team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
been a few of those, which
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
laugh about it. Nobody's ever been
Yeah, y'all are
angry at him
cool.
about
Okay.
it.
Well, that's
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't been on the side that Danielle has been on, where he
Yeah.
targets
Well,
her
see,
science.
we should bring that up though, because it's Scorpio season right now.
It is.
Scorpios are diabolical. I mean, they can be nice people, but
they
they're
can
also, you
think.
gotta watch out for them, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you do. And like, I'll tell you what Jen did. I think it was last year or the year before last year, but there is a call room in our office complex space. So there's a little room that we go into and we can make private calls, since there's cubicles and
Don't you
everything.
nap in there sometimes?
So every now and then I will go in there and take a little power nap. Okay. And they know that. Well, no, everyone knows that. But anyway, Jen told me that one of my coworkers told on me to my direct supervisor. And I thought that was the case for like 6 months, until I finally got the truth out of her that she was just playing me. That never happened.
You guys,
That's
he
something we would do.
was sweating
It's so,
bullets.
it was
He
so
was
good.
like, "No one knows I was taking a nap."
I made a meme about it. I made a meme about someone in my office being a rat.
He was
Because
so angry.
I didn't know who to trust.
Looking at everyone like, "I'm gonna cut you for telling on me," and giggly, just giggly. He's like, he doesn't know.
For
So
months.
funny.
No,
So
who did
good.
for months? I didn't trust anyone because I thought someone told on me. But she kept it, and she didn't just volunteer and tell me one day. I just connected the dots and I kind of backed her into a corner. And then she's like, yes,
It's
you're
a
right.
joke.
Everyone else knew but you.
So funny.
But now in
And
essence, you ratted yourself out because everybody knows
No,
See,
no,
that
so you take it back.
supervisor, though, doesn't work here anymore. So I don't care.
The direct supervisor does though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
your current supervisor does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's,
But you know what? It is actually shown in other country. People take naps, and it's actually
Yes.
good.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
power naps
Actually,
are
nap is
helpful for
actually very helpful and can help you during the day, Danielle and Jen. Because now you say that in the last year you became Jen, you're the supervisor of Danielle. Did your relationship, because there's something that we don't agree with Jess, did your relationship change?
Just
Yeah.
the background of what she means by our differences. I believe you can be work besties with anybody, any level, doesn't really matter whether they're above you, whether they're peer or not. And she's very clear it should be peers.
You can be, like you can be friendly.
What is the difference
and
between
very friendly, but
nepotism
there are
and
things that
cronyism?
I will not share.
One of those.
Think that it's changed at all. I think we've always been very good at being intentional about the boundary and her understanding. Sometimes I have to draw a line or have a hard conversation, but I don't think it's changed at all.
I think like for me, what's nice of like having your work, like your friend as your supervisor, is then I can have all of my angry like these are all of my feelings.
Yeah.
I can get those out. We can have a professional conversation, but then I can have a conversation with you later about like, I'm really upset about this. Because I know if we have to have a difficult conversation, it's not her, right? I'm not upset with her.
You can separate. Like you create
She's
the boundaries.
delivering information to me. A lot of times, right, you have to reflect on your own. Like, I have to think, well, what did I do? Or if I feel like I'm going to get in trouble, I just tell on myself ahead of time. I think I called her the other day and I said, well, I'm probably going to be in trouble because I made somebody so mad. Just know it's probably coming. Yeah. Like, usually I'm like, try to get ahead of the game.
And I think I know how to like things to Danielle because I know her reaction after. So I can tell her something in the moment and we can talk about it. And I know the next day she's still going to have
feelings.
Sometimes I'll get to the point where, okay, we've got to stop. I think you're stuck on this. And so it's okay. This is just information, but I know that about her. So I know how to say it in a way. I can be very brutally honest with her and I also know how to say it to her in a way that respects how she is going to react and know down the road, like we're going to have to revisit the conversation because she can't.
And you know also how that it will not break that friendship.
No.
No.
In
And
essence,
I never
like
worry
saying,
about that.
Yeah, you know her well enough that it's easier to manage somebody when you what they'll be thinking of, what they'll be focused on, and how you can help them through it. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is
Another
everybody.
point for Jessica. Ting.
But hold on. I'm not saying you cannot be.
See, this is Danielle Ryan. This is how our fights are.
But I'm not saying you cannot be friends, right? I'm just saying work bestie because for me,
they are work besties.
Yeah, I understand.
So
I understand. It's just that at some point, if I can be very friendly with my boss, but there are things that I would not say the same if it, with a work bestie. Like I would be able to tell you, stop freaking making so much noise with your chewing gum. I will not chewing gum, but I will not say it to my boss.
I wanted to provide some clarity to this situation. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
You weren't talking. It wasn't about you for a minute. So go ahead.
No, and it's still not. I'm just providing some context.
Yes.
I think, Claude, it works in this situation because Jen is Danielle's direct supervisor, but she's not Danielle's only boss. It's office space, like I have 8 bosses, Bob, so above Jen, there's still an assistant director. Then there's a direct. Then there's an executive director. There's
Ryan, I think you're done talking.
No,
above Jen.
thank you, Ryan.
But that's the truth. I mean, so I know that if it got to that, it would never get to that point. But if it did and I needed help, then someone could help with that conversation. But I think the biggest difference is that more people have accepted our friendship. I think that was very difficult for people at first to accept.
That's a good point.
That was hard. And now people are like, okay, they're friends. Like, this is it. This is how it is. But it was hard for people to accept at first.
It was really difficult.
So how come? What were people like? What were people
either saying
reflecting
or
on
doing?
that? Like, what were they saying?
We weren't even. She wasn't even my direct supervisor at the time, and we didn't even work together. So it was just.
And that was an issue then.
It was an issue.
I would think it would have been now.
I'm oblivious to that. I didn't know there was an issue.
Yeah,
it just depends on people that you're around. Yeah, I think that the climate has changed, and so people are like, well, they're just friends. But before, certain people were struggling that we were friends, even though we never worked directly together. And like we didn't even make it like known that we were friends. We didn't really post pictures, but now people know. That's why she is my direct supervisor, because we're friends and they know that she delivers the information better to me.
People have learned to trust that that neither side would take advantage of that. That's why it's now okay and understand. And we actually I think we work very well together. And so it's just embraced now and people are okay.
Do you think
but it was a struggle.
Encourage others then to have that similar relation? Because I do think where you're going with this, it makes sense to have that familiarity with an individual when you do manage them, because then you're interacting with them more like a best friend, which is going to make things a little bit easier. And both of you are in the win.
Yeah, because you can deliver the information. Like last year I went through a divorce, right? And so Jen and Ryan knew, like a handful of people that knew the whole year that it was happening.
Yeah.
And so she was able to navigate some conversations about me, knowing I was going through those things because I may have not reacted the best. And she could kind of facilitate that on the back end for me.
Yeah.
Or and say, I need, like, where are you at emotionally? Like, I know how to give you the information. So I think it's nice to have those relationships so that you can be mindful, like that there's a person outside of work, but all of that outside work stuff affects you at work. And so having those people that you can go to and be like, hey, I need to tell you this, but where are you at?
Yeah. And did you at some point feel like people thought, because we were friends, people felt that there could be favoritism?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
For 3 years, we didn't work directly together.
Right.
So there would have been no favoritism at all because we directly did not work together. It was just, it was interesting people's perception of the situation.
I think that now that we work directly together, Danielle should be more worried because I know her skill set. And so I'm like, I know I can ask her to do these things. You know what I mean?
Like, ask me to do those things too.
I do. And I still asked her then, but this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have complete 100% faith and trust in her that I have to catch myself and pull back and say, but you can't put one more thing on her. You know what I mean? Like, I have to have that internal dialogue.
Sometimes when you're friends and your friend is a supervisor, they might actually put more work on you because they trust you and they feel comfortable with you.
That is true. That is a risk.
I have to have that internal conversation.
If you are that close, usually the person can challenge back and be like, hey, I noticed my workload times that you're giving.
Right. I mean, you lean towards the people you know can do the job, and you know that you can say, I need this, and it'll happen and it'll be done and it's great and kids benefit. Not that other people aren't that way, but everyone has a different skill set, and I so admire Danielle's skill set. So it's really hard to not have to tell myself, no, Jen, you can't ask her to do that. You know what I mean? So
that's a fair assessment to say. You both have to make sure you're still check and balance.
Yeah.
The boundaries.
I'll compliment you, Danielle, because it's true. Like, Danielle may become overwhelmed and frustrated or stressed out internally, but there's no situation at work that you can't handle. Like,
that's very nice.
Yeah, true.
do nice things.
Wait, there's a meme that
Yeah.
Ryan posted. It was something like when you're taking care of a child, and it was a picture of a lady like setting up a car seat as if you're gonna like steal the kid. So clearly you have
That's my most current meme. Thank you. Yes. No, I mean sometimes
you have this like boundary.
sometimes you work with a kid and that kid is so cute and adorable. You just want to take them home. And
the time.
All the time. I
All
always
the
say, do
time.
you think their mom would miss them if I take them?
There are
I would have
certain
a house.
things- Yes, you just want to take and love and snuggle.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
have a car seat in my car, like a
Yes.
booster seat ready for that situation.
I love
You
that.
know?
Yeah.
And, like the kids you want to take are always like the most difficult kids.
Yeah.
Right.
You love
But they're
them so
cute.
much because
They're
they're so
cute.
hard,
Yeah.
and you just want to like take them and love them and
Yeah.
like fix it all. And
Mhm.
some of them are
We
so.
do have a principal. She's now a principal in our district who the same scenario, but she was like, I'm going to get my foster care license. And now she's fostering kids from her school because they're so cute and need help and she loves them. And so she's like a real life
Yeah, that's a
That's
great
so
scenario.
Yeah, I have a friend that's a social worker that did that. Like literally took in a kid,
Mhm.
fostering that kid right now. I think like a foster to adopt or whatever they call
Yeah.
it.
That's incredible
That
to
is
hear.
very
You can
impressive,
really
yeah.
see like how much, you care about really like helping those kids. And it's so beautiful, as a parent to know that there are people, like you and really caring so much. It's so, so lovely to hear. Oh, it makes you warm in the heart.
Yeah, so as frustrating as your jobs may be, the amount
Yeah.
of
That's what makes the cold dead heart
Yeah.
warm is like
Yeah.
you have for helping those really hard
Yeah.
kids.
yeah.
Mhm.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of feelings, and like the hard kids are my soft. That's why people feel like I'm aggressive about a kid, but I'm like super passionate about
Yeah.
making sure hard kids get taken care of because they're hard. And a lot of times what happens is they're hard and people just give up.
Mhm.
And all three of us are very passionate about communicating the need that they
Right.
have and how to support them.
And it
That's
must
been
be
some of our hardest conversations is Danielle, like you've got to let other people do their job too. You can't do everything. I think that's where the majority of our
Yes. She's
most
doing golf
passionate
right now.
conversations have come from.
Yeah. And it must be also emotionally taxing on you, right? And that's why sometimes I love this three-way, right?
Mhm.
Going back and forth, but I'm sure it's also, it's so emotionally taxing that you need those relief and those fun and venting with your work besties because they are there. They know where they are going through the same way where you're going through. So I think it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they get to be more frontline with kids. I get the adults and the parents. And so my release is going to see kids,
Yeah.
and so any kids, but they are more directly on the front lines with the kiddos.
Yeah.
And so I am envious of that in their roles.
But I'm sure that dealing with the parents also is not a piece of cake.
No, that's where most of my emotional exhaustion comes from is just adults. Adults are so much harder than kids sometimes, but
We have great parents,
yeah.
but Jen does not work with all the parents. She works when basically someone's unhappy. And I'm not saying these parents don't have a right to be unhappy about what they're happy about, because I'm a sped parent myself. I'm just saying those are the parents you work with, the ones that are not happy about something. So
And Ryan does a good job of keeping that separate with our friendship because he could easily pull me into that, even though I'm not really assigned to that. It would be easy for him to vent about those things, and he does a really good job of keeping our friendship separate from him being a parent.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate
Why don't we change topics? This is great that you guys have each other to vent and definitely can help with the balance between your work, but also being a parent, knowing the behind the scenes. What do you guys do just to have fun?
Danielle and Jen can answer that because they don't include me in their fun.
That's not true.
I'll just sit back and
Here we go.
I feel like that's not
I should do my own podcast called The Third Wheel, and it will be like a support group for people that are a third wheel and a friend trio.
You know what? The trio is always hard. Like friendship trio is always a bit hard.
No, it's fine. I'm like, because
like Ryan's perception is that Jen and I are out in our crop tops and short shorts
running
hitting
the
a
streets.
balloon and having a great time and like hitting from the rafters. And I swear to God, we are literally best friends and never see each other outside of work.
No, I mean,
Do you want to
Except
go
for when I see
store?
pictures on Instagram of hanging out outside of work.
We literally probably physically see each other outside of work probably once a month in the middle of the day, because by the time it's nighttime, we both want to be on our couches in our pajamas.
Yeah.
So Ryan's perception is that we're out here like, woo, and like,
No.
I'm not your boyfriend. Like, why would I care what you're wearing? That has nothing to do with it.
I was painting a picture, your perception of our
No,
going out and partying.
It's FOMO. It's the fear of missing out on
Yeah.
whatever they're doing,
No.
whatever fun time they're
Thank
having and
you.
laughing.
Well,
It's
he's
just included. I don't care what you wear.
everyone's on everyone. Like, I'm on my couch, Jen is on her couch.
Mhm.
Literally, like, what are you doing? And then it's like a picture of her on the couch with the dogs. And I'm like meandering around my house. And then I'm like, I'm on my couch. Like,
Yeah. That's literally, I mean, we will go on a thrifting adventure every now and then. That's our favorite thing to do.
Yeah, that's
Stop it right now. You would not go with us if we asked you.
do you want to go to Goodwill?
I do
Right.
not.
Okay.
They've taken trips together. Not me. I wasn't included in any of them. But you did always bring me back a magnet,
Thank
so I
you.
appreciate it.
Yes.
He is included.
Yeah,
You got a
Mhm.
magnet, so
by
you were
bringing me
included.
back the magnets.
Mhm.
So they think of you, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, the other part of the trio.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they don't include me, but they think about me, so that's fine. I'm always there in spirit.
There you go. You're always,
I'm like the
you're
Michael
always writing a
Scott,
meme
like,
about
it's
them.
always
There's always like one like passive aggressive comment.
Every time. Just when you think it's going to be real nice, there's something, and you're like, there it is.
I've said many nice comments so far in this.
But
You
let's
do.
go back to the fact that you say things to like you say something passive aggressive, but then you say something nice, so it's just like a cancel out. You're never in the win
Yeah.
column.
It's like, I'm sorry, but
Mm-hmm.
situation.
As long as I don't walk away from her in the lose column.
Okay, I see. I feel you. So either nothing or one, just never in the lose. Good to know.
Yeah, as long as I'm not losing, yeah. You know, we're not having like some big fallout from whatever this happened in this podcast.
No.
My God, no.
We've never had a fallout. We've had some.
No, you know what?
I was gonna say, I feel like that's what kind of brought you in, Jen. Was one of the conversations
It
we had
was
last time.
100%.
No,
Time Jen and I did not a fallout, but she
Yes.
me. I wouldn't call it a full-on fallout, but she got really mad at me, but kind of overreacted.
Give the background first. Give a little bit of
let's
background.
pause for a second. I want to tell it because they were text messaging. We were all text messaging back and forth. So have you ever seen Ace Ventura movie? Okay, so you know where Dan Finkel misses the kick, and it's the kick heard around the world. Okay, we're text messaging back and forth, and Ryan makes Jen angry, and she said "F you," and it was like the text message heard around the world, and I was like,
A week later, I have an apology notepad, and I felt like she was ready, you know, to reconcile. So I sent her a blank apology note and had her fill it out, and she sent it back to me filled out.
Yes.
So
And now we're good. But I had to apologize.
I roll on it too, you know, because obviously I did something that led up to that. Whatever.
Yes, I
I
would
don't even
assume.
remember what it was. You might.
I don't either. I think the thing to know is I am good till I'm not. So it takes a lot to get me to that point.
This
So
is
it
the
had probably
scorpion
been
in
a
you.
constant like poke.
literally was like this.
Yeah.
Speechless. I was like, oh my
I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
It's
They're like,
Yeah.
it was epic. So
Yeah.
is like, talking about like there's three of us. So then instead of it being like me and Jen are texting about Ryan is texting me. Jen is texting me. I'm so mad at Ryan. And he was like, I can't believe she said that to me. And I'm like, I'm facilitating. I'm like, well, maybe she was just really upset. Like, maybe Ryan was doing I was like,
you're like, when did I get stuck mediator?
Yeah.
I am not good at that. That's Ryan's job. Ryan's job is the feelings. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so. I was like, I don't know what to do.
are you
I did-
picking up okay, Claude and Jess? I mean, like, I know this is a lot. We're a lot.
You guys are
Oh no,
great.
it's great.
No, I
Okay,
think
good.
friendship
I
is
think
real life. It's very
exactly.
authentic.
No, totally. I think that, you can see, it's like the love and the frustration, because at the end of the day, that's what's relationship, right? Relationship is like work besties is like any relationship. It's not
Yeah.
all rosy because, and thank God, otherwise it's kind of boring, it's at
Right.
the end of the day, that's where you're going to be frustrated with each other, but you kiss and make up.
Yeah.
And that was really make the friendship so
Right.
important and so real. Because otherwise, if you didn't have this friendship and there's like, let's say, a fallout, then you're like, you know what? I'm done.
And
I
you
don't
write
need
them
that
up. Yeah.
relationship.
Right.
But you do value that relationship because it brings,
It betters
lot
you.
of
Yeah, it betters
exactly.
you. Like you guys individually are great people, but all together you're like
Yeah.
bettering each other.
Yeah.
And you're finding
Exactly.
ways to challenge, which also means the pitfalls or the annoying
Yeah.
habits like my loud gum chewing and
Or
you
me
like
saying
poke at
what,
it.
or me
Yeah.
what all the time because I feel
Yeah.
like I'm deaf
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
she can't hear me. And I talk very loud, so she'll be like, "What?" I'm like, "I cannot talk any louder. Like I am already."
And I think it became like a tick, right? Like
Yeah, now
something
she
that
just
I say, I'm
it's
just saying what
it's
because I
she
don't
doesn't
listen.
listen.
I don't listen. But at the end of the day, that's what is important. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Listen.
fighting for your friendship because
Yeah.
otherwise it's very easy. The smallest little thing, you're like, you know what?
Done.
I was going to say a bad word, but whatever. I don't need that. But
You're
you
gonna
need
say-
each other.
But that I think you guys are great examples of you can be so close to each other, understand the how and what goes on behind your different roles, even though they're different. Help each other with it, but then at times get frustrated as well. It's life,
Which
it's
is
reality.
Mhm.
But the fact that you do continue to figure out ways to still maintain your friendship or get back to that friendship, it's what's going to better not just you guys, you three, but most likely
All
where
the
you all
others.
work. And
Yeah.
then everybody else sees this, and it's like a trickle effect, and it
Yeah.
just brings that positivity and lovingness that is kind of missing in the world that we need more and more examples of. So
Yeah.
And
I love
another
it.
thing
And I love
is
laughing with you all.
another thing is that we're all there. We're all present. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we're in a time where a lot of district employees are leaving, finding other opportunities, but we're still here. We're all
You're
three
fighting a good
still,
fight.
and
Yeah.
that not
Yeah.
that we will all work together forever. I'm sure, but still, I mean, right now though, we've gone through a lot, just work wise, and we're all still here and all still showing up, every day and giving it our all.
Which that's a
Yeah.
common theme we're hearing across all industries, walks of life. Like it's getting harder and harder, less people there, more people leaving, a lot more
Yeah.
turnover. So the examples of people becoming close and helping each other is so important because you need that. It's the
Yeah,
only way
because
to get
I'm in
through all
year
that.
6 of this district. Danielle, you're in year what?
14.
14, and Jen, you're 5. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. I
You
mean,
you saw it all, and you can actually, talk to it and like check in with each other, and helping each other, with all the thing all the experience that you've had all together, and that is, I mean, look, I think your relationship, it's funny, coming from the outside, it's, we laugh. And that's why also we wanted you back but it's not only haha, because behind it, you still see the love for each other, and the support for each other. And what we see is that raw friendship, which is the real friendship. That's what I see from the outside.
A great way to wrap this up, knowing that you three do leverage each other so well, maybe not all the time, but for the most part, do you have any advice for future or even current people in your workplace that help them find their work besties
Yeah.
And have that relationship.
We have to get away from this thought that you can't be friends with your supervisor or somebody, because we all need each other right now. Public education is just a difficult space. If you don't have those relationships, and if you try to say, I can't have a relationship with that person because of this, you're missing out on an opportunity to really find somebody to support you and be there for you. And so I think we just have to move away from that. It's all about being professional and respecting boundaries. And if you trust each other and you know that the other person has your best interest in mind always, but I think we just have to all be there for each other right now. It's
Yeah.
an impossible place to be in public ed right now. And so that my friendships are what keeps me going.
I love that.
Ryan, Danielle?
Okay, you said Ryan first, so I'll go first. That's okay. I think my advice is just be yourself very loudly, and that's what I
Yeah.
do. And when I am fully myself, a lot of people might scatter, and the people that are still there, you know, like Danielle and Jen, and there's been a
Mhm.
couple others, you know, those are my people, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, because I mean, you want to be a good coworker and kind and supportive and all that, but you know, just don't be a chameleon. Don't try to blend in or try to be something else, you know, to fit in. Just be yourself, and then the friendships, I think, from that will just come, you know. And they may not come right away either. I mean, I think Danielle and I worked together a couple of years, and Jen a few years before we started friends. Yeah, it's not something that always happens instantly. And Danielle said the last time, don't judge a book by its cover, which I don't know what that means. Like, he was this funny looking bald white guy.
I think, like, for me, what that means is, like, there's going to be people that you come in contact with at first that you're like, you are not for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. But then the more you spend
Yeah.
time with them, you're like, oh, actually, I do really
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel,
You are for me.
That's where those are like your really strong relationships of, you
Mhm.
know, you're like, I didn't really think I was gonna like you at first.
yeah, Danielle, you are not for me is your default setting though.
That's
It's mine too, pretty much.
Brian. I think it's one of those things, like, you just be yourself, because the
Mhm.
people that are your people will be attracted to you, and they'll be the ones
Mhm.
that for you, and
Mhm.
you're gonna people are your friends and then find out that they're not, or they are your work friends. And but I think it is, you can't judge that initial, like, few contacts with someone of, like, you're not for me, like, maybe they're a lot, and then
Mhm.
just kidding, I really do like you.
Mhm.
Well, thank you guys. As always, you're very entertaining. We
Thank
learned
you.
a lot.
And
Yeah.
deep, and
And
deep
deep,
at the same
yeah.
time.
And if there was a way to summarize you guys, I would say you are very real. You're very authentic. And you are like a family. It's the good and the bad comes out, but it's
Yeah.
because you guys care so much. And we appreciate you guys being a part of our Work Bestie community and being so willing to share all of this and help bring this message broader out there. And hopefully more and more people in the education field can take note of this.
Mhm.
Thank
that-
you.